Now, a survey conducted by accounting and auditing firm KPMG and the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply has underscored the pervasive nature of procurement fraud within a significant number of organizations. Majority of respondents in the survey indicated that procurement fraud occurs in the organization, while a majority of the respondents noted that the organizations have controls to prevent and detect fraud. The findings from this survey suggest that there may be potential challenges in the form of collusion to bypass controls, management override of controls, absence of effective controls, and the lack of adherence to established control mechanisms. On Zoom to talk a bit more about this, KPMG-GIPS 2023 Procurement Enhancement Survey Report is Andrew Akoto, Partner Advisor at KPMG. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us here on The Marketplace. Tell us a bit more about the Procurement Enhancement Survey and what informed the conduct of the survey.
Thank you, Darrell, and good afternoon to your viewers. Around the middle of this year, KPMG, in partnership with the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply, collaborated to carry out this survey, given the increasing importance of the procurement function in our economy. Indeed, it's estimated that about 50% of public expenditure is committed to procuring works, services, and goods, because government itself does not carry out a number of these. So it becomes very important that as a nation, we begin to pay attention, and for good reason too, because by its sheer size, the procurement function becomes a source of corruption and waste if we don't rally around to look at the challenges facing this function and how we can support it to become better and therefore help build a more resilient economy.
So what are the highlights of this 2023 survey?
Yeah, as you indicated in your introduction, about 90% of respondents, whom really constitute a significant number of procurement practitioners around the country, did indicate having observed some procurement fraud in one way or the other in their organization. And that is very, very significant. And among some of the types of fraud, they mentioned matters like conflict of interest, collusion, procurement rigging, among others. And this is a real source of concern because as a nation, we should be looking to maximize the use of our scarce resources. And it becomes therefore important that respondents as well as stakeholders pay attention to the findings from this survey. Some of the other important revelations had to do with lack of access for support from management or the top, as well as access to channels to be able to get support, assuming practitioners come under pressure, which is more or less a daily occurrence.
You looked into the private sector and the private sector as well. I want us to begin with the public sector. I mean, what did you find there?
Okay, so both in the public and the private sectors, it's quite evident that the procurement function, has become increasingly important and always comes under some sort of a strain or pressure when tenders are being put out. But the significant thing about the public sector in particular is the limited access for support, where professionals in this space want to have access to be able to air their concerns or indeed report fraud, as the case might be. And in fact, one respondent was bold enough as far as to go that there should be a regulatory body set up specially to support procurement professionals because of the kind of pressure that they come under. And whereas in the private sector, a number of institutions have improved their governance practices, giving access to anonymous whistleblowing channels, and as well as setting the right tone at the top. In the public sector, it's not so much, and therefore practitioners continue to face a lot of challenges in terms of carrying out their work independently and effectively.
Yeah, comparatively, is the situation any better in the private sector?
Not well, like I said, in the private sector, because of the support systems from the top, because of improved corporate governance, as well as access to whistleblowing, as well as anonymous channels of reporting whenever misconduct or fraud is spotted, maybe they're able to fare somehow better. Besides, management continues to support the professionals in this space by instituting periodic control reviews, as well as building the capacity of their staff. Of course, in the public sector, this also happens, but to what effect? If these are countered by pressures from the top, as well as some other prominent quarters.
Let's talk about the use of technology in reducing procurement fraud, because the government was supposed to fully implement the Ghana electronic procurement system this year. I'm just wondering how far this would go in improving procurement practices and reducing fraud.
That is an important question, Darrell. And all over the world, studies have shown that where procurement practices have been digitalized, or as they call it, electronic procurement systems have been introduced, it has enhanced the practice of procurement within those jurisdictions. And in fact, they even say that currently in Ukraine, when they were invaded by Russia, they were still able to kind of sustain their economy because they had already digitalized their procurement practices. So e-procurement is a big deal. And we are informed that back in 2019, His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, supported the launch of an e-procurement process system in Ghana with the Public Procurement Agency as the implementing agency. And so far, I believe it has gone well from what we've heard. And we're also informed that implementation would have been completed this year. That we don't know about, but we believe it becomes very key to also conduct a post-implementation review of this system that has been implemented to ensure that it works and works very well. Because at the end of the day, if we're able to get it right, it will go a long way to save a lot of scarce resources, eliminate wastage, reduce corruption, and get overall value for money for whatever we put our resources to in this country.
And what other recommendations are you making based on your findings?
Well, I mean, beyond continue to build capacity and invest in procurement professionals, we believe it's useful that management periodically constitutes, audits into the effectiveness of procurement practices, so that the control systems that continuously are rolled out are enhanced to improve the overall enhancement of this function. There's also the need to continue to support the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supplies. It's a relatively new body, and I know that they are also trying to get the support of Parliament to improve on their mandates within the system, thereby empowering their professionals to be more confident and to be more bold in carrying out their work in a very, very effective and professional manner.
All right. Thank you for your time. Andrew Akoto there, his partner advisor at KPMG. Appreciate your time with us.